Go to Kari Lake. Kari, tell me about Bobby Kennedy. What did you think about the hearing today?
Wow, I thought it was great. I mean, it's like must-see TV watching all of these confirmation hearings. And this one is a little more near and dear to me as well, being a mom. And I think a lot of moms are watching this, moms who aren't even involved in politics and maybe normally wouldn't care in politics. Were glued to this today. I saw some of my mama bear friends who, haven't gotten overly involved. They don't watch your show. They're not posse members. They're just taking care of their families. And they were totally in tune to this today, watching somebody who's really stepped up as a hero for moms who maybe have kids with autism. I had a son with severe asthma, a chronic condition like asthma, where, going to the hospital a couple times a year became the norm for us. And we want to get to the bottom of why. Why are we seeing these diseases? Why are we seeing more of them? Why did it used to be 1 in 10,000 kids had autism, and now it's 1 in 36 kids? And Bobby Kennedy Jr. was the guy who was standing up to Big Pharma. Do you know how scary that is? That's, standing up to Big Pharma and the military-industrial complex. I think those are the two scariest entities in the world. They will destroy you. And he stood up and he has been sounding the alarm. I mean, the fact that he wrote this book, it's one of the best books out there, The Real Anthony Fauci. They're scared to death, some of these people in Washington, D.C., because he's going to now be able to dig further and prove to the people what's really been going on. And he's been right about things. I mean, he was right about red dye. He was about it being a carcinogen. He was right about fluoride affecting our children's IQ. And what else is he right about? The moms out there who have really good gut instincts about what's going on with their kids, they are connected to Bobby Kennedy Jr. because he's the first guy to stand up and say, we got to make our country healthy again. And I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. I thought he did an incredible job. I disagree with you and Megyn Kelly, even though I love both of you. I thought his temperament was perfect today. There's something very commanding about somebody who remains calm under pressure. When he had Elizabeth Warren screaming at him, he remained calm. The person who's screaming is the one who looks out of control. And there's nobody who understands the issue and the topic like Bobby Jr. If you've ever had a chance to sit and talk with him, his brain is like an encyclopedia. And today they kept pushing vaccines, vaccines, vaccines. I don't think that those senators realize the skepticism because of the COVID shot that moms and dads now feel out there about public health, about some of the vaccines that have been pushed on us. They want more information, not less. They want more transparency. That's what we're going to get with Bobby Kennedy Jr. I thought he did an excellent job today, knocked it out of the ballpark, and I hope that he gets the votes and gets confirmed. I think there's going to be a lot of mad mothers and fathers and young people out there who came into the movement simply because of him, who voted Republican maybe for the first time in their lives or voted for the first time in their lives, who will walk away from the Republican Party if they don't vote the right way, which is to vote for Bobby Kennedy for HHS. I'm looking forward to seeing him take on Big Pharma, and I thought he did an incredible job.
It's one of the reasons that you left broadcasting and got into the MAGA movement, became one of the leading lights in the MAGA movement. Could you feel the money in the room today? Could you actually feel Big Pharma, Pfizer, and these companies coming after Bobby Kennedy, ma'am?
Interesting that you bring that up, because I was watching, I've been a little bit under the weather, as you can probably hear in my voice, and I was kind of laying there in bed watching. And the people who were yelling the loudest and harping on him the most, I thought, they must be getting a payout from Big Pharma, the big pharmaceutical companies. And sure enough, a little bit later, I noticed on social media that, one of the top folks who gets money from Big Pharma is Elizabeth Warren. You would think that the Democrats would be on his side on this. They've talked for years about caring about our health, caring about health care. They only care about health care if it means pouring a ton of money into the pharmaceutical companies. And I don't think that's what healthcare is. I think healthcare is preventing illness, is making sure that, as what Kennedy said today, what is in our food is safe. We want to make sure that when we're feeding our families, feeding ourselves, that something hasn't been put into our food that makes it unsafe, and getting to the bottom of all of this. And, I thought the questions seemed to really hit only on vaccines. There were so many other issues he talked about chronic illness and about, really reducing the price of what we're paying for healthcare and getting a better quality for it. Getting a more high quality, healthcare, and they were so condescending toward him. It was actually embarrassing. He's one of the smartest people I know. Every conversation I've ever had with him, I've been amazed at the information he has that he's been able to store in his brain. And I think he showed that today when he calmly took on these senators, let some of them go into hysterics, and he sat there and answered the questions the best he could with them interrupting him.
You're one of the more important people coming in this administration, one of the most important jobs, the voice of America. I know you've got big plans for it. You're not Senate confirmed, but it's got to go through a process to get you there. Talk to me about tomorrow as you see two of your colleagues going through, I think could be two of the toughest sessions. I think make Bobby Kennedy's pale in comparison. That is Tulsi Gabbard at DNI and Kash Patel at FBI. Give us your pregame assessment of this, ma'am.
Well, I know both Tulsi and Kash, and I know that Tulsi is calm and cool and collected under fire. I can't imagine her ever losing her cool. They won't be able to trip her up. She will remain calm and steadfast, and I know that that's going to go really well. Look, they don't want these people. They don't want any of Trump's people. Kash is going to be incredible, and they'll try to paint him as a conspiracy theorist and attack him. He's going to be incredible. They're scared to death of him getting in and rooting out corruption. This administration is different than any administration we've seen in our lifetimes. President Trump is putting in people who don't need this. They don't need the jobs. Do you think Bobby Kennedy or Tulsi needs this job? No, they're doing it because they care about this country. And we need to root out the corruption in our federal government. And every single person that President Trump puts forth is going to be attacked. We have to be ready for lawfare. But we've been trained up until now. We've been through it up until now. Lawfare is coming our way. We're going to get all these different Soros-based groups that have gone after many of us, including myself and President Trump and people like you and people like Rudy. They're not going to stop. And so if we think that oh no, they're coming after us, they're suing here, they're suing there, maybe we should step back and slow down. No, we have to save this country, and that means making sure that the bureaucracy is slimmed down, making sure that the corruption is rooted out, and restoring the federal government, giving back to we the people. This government has been running on cruise control, the bureaucracy out of control, and it's running this country off a cliff, and it stops right now. I'm really happy with President Trump's bold agenda, what he's pushed forward. I don't think he's had any missteps. I think he's been doing a great job. And, along the way, there's going to be slight alterations and changes along the way. That's to be expected. There's a lot of moving parts right now. And we know how the deep state works. It's always constantly throwing a landmine in front of you. But we've been through hell and back, many of us have, and we're ready for it. President Trump is not sending wimpy people to Washington, D.C. He's sending a bunch of fighters, patriotic fighters. And tomorrow we're going to see two of the greatest patriotic fighters in Tulsi Gabbard and also in Kash Patel. I'm looking forward to it. It's must-see TV. And I believe at the end of the day, they will get the confirmation.
Kari, can we get a commitment to you to come on tomorrow after a huge day of Bobby Kennedy, Tulsi Gabbard, and Kash Patel, and join us in the 6 o'clock hour?
I would love to do it. I would absolutely love to do it. And, I just want to let them know if they're watching tonight, guys, rest well and just show up. You already know everything. You've got it up here. And be calm. I mean, take a page. I think Pete Hegseth was so great starting this all off. He's got everyone yelling at him, and he stayed calm, cool, and collected. And that can be the scariest attitude of all. When you're in a room with a bunch of panicking politicians, many of whom have taken money from these big, agencies and companies, and you know what I'm talking about. They've taken a lot of payouts. They're people like
Kari, real quickly, what's your social media? We got to bounce. What's your social media?
Kari Lake, at Kari Lake. Go to Twitter at Kari Lake. You can go to Getter. You can go to Facebook is The Kari Lake. And all of the usual places. Just look for Kari Lake.